we're having a look at machines today. So here are some basic machines. Now, let me first start by saying a machine is, like when we think about machines, we think of these huge things. But a machine is basically just something that makes work easier. So this first one we have over here is a lever. So levers makes it easier to carry a load. So if we have a load over here, the lever makes it easier to carry this load. Same with a pulley. If we're trying to lift something up, we've got a load over here and we pull down. So this pulley helps us pull the load up. Here we've got a wheel and an axle. So on this side here, we've got a small axle, and because it's small, it makes tiny little motions, but this drives a big wheel, so it makes it easier. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is an inclined plane. Okay, so an inclined plane is stationary, and this one doesn't really make the work much easier, but we need a force from this side to carry the load up the inclined plane. The reason why I've got the inclined plane there is because the next one here is a wedge. So this wedge looks very similar to an inclined plane. Just try and move this arrow. Doesn't want to. So we've got this this inclined, it's inclined here on this side, but the thing with a wedge is we're not moving the load up here. A wedge is something that we move in order to create to make work easier. So think about, so the inclined plane is something stationary, it's like a hill. But a wedge is something that we move. So you can also think about an example of an axe, which splits wood in two. Let me show you a picture of that one as well. So an axe is basically a wedge, and if you push the wedge in between the two pieces of wood, then it creates a hole in between it, which means that the wood breaks apart. So it makes our work easier. Let's see if we can put a picture here. There we go. So this is a wedge. So the axe is a wedge here. We are putting the wedge in between the two pieces of wood, and there's force coming down from the bottom, and it splits the wood in two. So there's direction, there's change in the direction, there's change in the wood, there's movement of the wedge. Okay, so that's the difference between a wedge and an inclined plane. And we've also got a screw here, which is also a type of mechanism to hold things together. Right, let's have a look at gears. So gears also help us so this part is about motion. So we want to move things, and it's easier to move things with gears. So when we've got two gears like this, they move past each other and they move in opposite directions. But this gear over here, we've got a gear in the middle between them, and that is called the idler gear. the idler gear turns in the opposite direction. So there we go. But these two gears on the side moves in the same direction. Okay, so have a look at the first picture again. It's two gears moving towards each other. But if we want gears to move in the same direction, we put an idler gear here in the middle. Then we've got a cam. A cam is something that turns rotary motion into linear motion. So we have one thing turns. So here we've got a cylinder that's turning around. And as this one turns, we've got linear motion on this side. So it goes from going around and around and around, it goes in a straight line. So that's a cam. So it goes from circular motion, rotary motion, to linear motion. Right, so that's where we're going to end off today.